here's an Olympic hurdle for you, really. In the age of Twitter and tape delay broadcast, of course, how do you avoid spoilers?
Well, you can't. So every time you open a screen, you know, there's some result from some event, and it has a lot of people really upset. This tape delay that NBC has most of its, if not all of its events on for prime time, you know, is making people sort of find out things that they don't want to know. So they're going to great extremes to, you know, cut off all social media activity for the next 17 days, which I don't know about you, but that's a huge issue for me. And then, you know,
and for just about any journalist.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then even looking at, you know, your homepage for Yahoo or MSN or wherever it happens to be, there are spoilers everywhere.
Now, the big challenge, of course, with this Olympics is the growth of social media just since the last Olympics. Really, back then, we have it on screen here. We had, you know, tweets per day back in 2008, 300,000. That's up to 400 million now. Active Facebook users, 100 million back then. It's now 950 million as of the most recent quarter that they reported. So it's just massive growth of information being shared in real time.
Yes, and Twitter, you know, I mean, in Beijing it was sort of a factor, but nowhere near the factor that it is now. And I don't know about you, but I have my Twitter stream open all day, and even if you don't want to be finding out these events, you know, the most random sources of friends and people will just tweet what they saw in, you know, a headline, or if they watch the event live stream on NBC. So people are filtering their tweet deck. They're trying to, you know, come up with ways to unfollow people. There's a new service called Twitter Doghouse where you can temporarily—
I was going to ask about that, yeah.
You can temporarily unfollow someone. So say you didn't want to follow a news organization or an athlete for the next 17 days, you can sort of set that, and then it'll refollow you automatically at the end of that.
But even so, there's still a lot of folks that are unhappy. Speaking of Twitter and the tape delay,
yes,
with a lot of events, we had an example, a journalist who got himself blocked on Twitter.
Absolutely. I mean, this whole tape delay, you know, I mean, is not a new thing.
He was complaining about that effectively when he, what did he do? He put...
Well, he was yes, he was complaining about the tape delay, and he included some personal information about an NBC executive that got himself sort of in some hot water from the Twitter folks. But I think in general, the discussion of the tape delay and the hashtag NBC fail is sort of all over the internet right now. But you know, it is getting people really talking about the games, and so viewer numbers are up, and in terms of live stream, it's, you know, they're live streaming every event, and so people are tuning in for those. So there is a lot of chatter about it, so you know, it's not necessarily all a bad thing.
Now, you mentioned in your story that NBC is streaming a lot of these sports online.
All of them.
Now, but how can you, do you need a
yes,
TV subscription in order to actually watch them?
I think you have to prove that you pay for TV, so you do have to log in with your cable.
I do not pay for television.
With your cable provider number and things like that, and it can freeze. I talked to one guy who had 2 laptops open to watch a swimming event on Sunday, was so frustrated because both of them were freezing at different times, couldn't see it at all, and then learned the spoiler, you know, from one of his friends.
Okay, yeah, that's unfortunate. Yeah, but again, you really do need, they're streaming it online, but if you don't have a cable subscription, you're out of luck.
But there's all sorts of other ways I think people have found out to watch these games.
Are there?
Yeah, you can get the BBC feed and things like that. I mean,
How
they're
can I
not
get the
necessarily
BBC feed?
above brow, but just Google any event and then the word live, and you're a talented guy, you can figure it out.
Interesting. But of course, as you mentioned, this isn't necessarily driving away viewership.
No.
On NBC. Here we have average viewership in these games are
huge.
36 million. It's up pretty dramatically, at least from Beijing, but not so dramatically from Atlanta.
And one more point to make: NBC itself is in on the spoiler game, so they have tweeted results before the event airs in primetime. Brian Williams has, you know, his show is the lead-in to many Olympics events. He'll give spoilers before they've shown it in primetime. And then last night, during the primetime playback, they showed Missy Franklin winning gold in a recap in a promo for the Today Show, and it had not yet aired in primetime.
So just stay away from everything until you can turn on the Olympics in
close your eyes
time.
until that event shows up if you still want to be surprised.
Great, thanks so much. And of course, we are going to have actually a lot more, Elizabeth. We've kind of touched on a very rich scene here with Twitter and the Olympics, because as we'll have more on Digits later today at 1 o'clock, 2 athletes have effectively gotten themselves, I guess, kicked off their team for offensive tweets. And this is something that is totally new. This wasn't a problem back in 2008. So again, Elizabeth, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you coming on.
Of course, thank you.